Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna discuss about React Agent framework. So there are a bunch of agentic frameworks are there, and depending upon the use case, you have to select which framework is gonna fit for your needs. So today I'm gonna discuss about like which framework which you need to choose. So let's go with the React Agent framework. So React chatbots, it means in a traditional chatbot, it goes back, talk to the LLM, and give the kind of a response. But React chatbots, it takes this input and then it's called to another LLM and then it's validate the response back because we know that the LLMs are hallucinating things. So that's a concern. So we will have one more uh, tools, one more agent. It goes back and it understands the interactions of the user conversation, and it decide which element needs to be invoked. It formulate the query input and then observe the query output. So it reduce the hallucination when you use React framework, especially if you are having a huge data query. React framework is gonna fit it there because it understands your data and it's gonna gives you the final response out of it. So what is React frameworks? It's a combination of reasoning and action to create a dynamic chatbot. So it understands your query. On top of it, like it has its own action built, and then it's going to respond to you back with the validation of that. So it has a decision capabilities and action and evolution of that. So for example, if you say it's like, hey, how many orders I have placed, so some of the chatbots it might be hallucinated to you and it says like it might be 12, but when you have the React uh, agentic chatbot, it goes back and it's understand the user query and then it's take the action on top of it and it's validate the output and then it's going to respond to you back. So the agent is decides to which query, which engine it has to be goes and bring, because it's all depends upon to you, right? So depending upon the query of the user, it's gonna goes back and invoke the certain LLM and get you the response back. So it's gonna be pretty much good. So where it's Excel, so React Excel for content data, so it's reduced hallucination, and it has a contextual reasoning capabilities and it has a feasible inquiry. So if you're building a chart bot and which has a lot of reasoning understanding of your user queries, and it might have this some personalized information, then go for React framework, right? So what is the difference between traditional chatbots and React? So the query flexibility and less hallucination, contextual reasoning, it's precise with the answers. And I'm going to show you bit a while. I created a collab notebook and I'm going to show you how React is going to work. So like the scalability is pretty good because you can have the a huge number of the queries. You can interact with the LLMs and try to do it. Performance pretty awesome because it's gonna invoke the depending upon the LLM which we want it to be, depending upon the query and contextual length together. And it has grounding capabilities, so it's reduced the hallucination with the grounding capabilities because we invoke it and it's again validated by other LLMs and it's gonna gives you a grounding once. That's where we get it. So let's go with the task, right? So I'm gonna say some query. I'm gonna ask like I'm gonna provide one context, one text or PDF to the LLM and ask to give the response. Before it's responding to it, it has to be validated and can give me the response back to me, right? So let's do that for you. So how that works, I loaded a document in my sample directory. And for that, what I have did it right, I have done this data into vector storage index. Then I've created a chatbot to use OpenAI and Gemini. So I tried with Anthropic, but I go with Gemini because it's gonna be. So I install Llama Index because I have to do the vector indexing. One, I install Llama one, and I install the Google Generative AI, and then updated my keys there, and then I imported the document. So where Paul Graham is going to say what did Paul Graham do in summer 1995. So given the text of that, what did Paul Graham do in the summer 1995. So it's done a query, right? The input is like what did Paul Graham do in summer 1995, and in a response, right? The OpenAI response is like in summer 1995, Paul Graham started working on a new version of Arc with the robot. This version of the Arc was compiled into Scheme and tested it. Paul Graham wrote Hacker News, and it has given me a lengthy one with he works with robot. And then what I did, right? I tried to use the Gemini and try to see how good the response is gonna give it, because when I'm giving the response, it should be a summarization of that, right? It should be pretty uh, accurate. So with my context, it says like based on the context in summer of 1995. It means like it understand the context of that particular one. Paul Graham started working on a new version of Arc with Robert, right? So that means it goes back with your input response, and then it's give me the context depending upon my query, whatever the query have write it. So I have done this collab notebook. If you wanted, I'm happy to share you this collab notebook, right? So whenever you are building any agentic frameworks, I wanted you to be go and try um, React agent framework. The conclusion is more pretty much right. So if you have highly effective, accurate context delivery, so you go with React agentic framework, right? It works because it takes your response and then understand the summary of that, and then it's going to give you precise answers to it. Thanks for watching. I hope you like it, right? Please like and subscribe.